Well, good morning. Great to be with you again on this another week set before us. And this week I'm going to speak about the day after. Now, just bear with me as we play around words, and we are heading towards Christmas, by the way. Christmas, yes, is a week away, and the day after Christmas, I will be sharing the day after. So I'll be sharing on the day after Christmas, on the day after Christmas. Yeah. So join me on that Sunday morning, and I'll be able to share a little bit more. But this week, we're going to be talking about the day after, and you know that the day after, we all have experienced a day after. Come on, I bet you can tell stories of some of your day afters. You know, your first date. You can tell us the day after what happened on that date. Did you reply back? Did you continue to pursue the girl or the boy that you went out with? The day after you left school, remember that day after. Yeah, there was great celebrations of taking place, started a new journey in your life. There's always a day after something happening in our lives. The day after leaving school, you started to study, possibly went to university, went to a college, got involved in a job, a work started. Possibly you just left school and straight into work. That was the day after. Now, things began to change within your life. The day after your holiday, you can tell stories of that. Your marriage, the day after your marriage, you're like, okay, some of you are saying, well, I can tell stories about that as well. Now, we're not going to get into those things because we know this: with every day after, we carry a responsibility with us, and the responsibility is this of doing life. How do we do life? How do we continue to do life the day after our experience of the day after? Often the day after follows with possibly regrets of the wild party that you kind of left behind or got involved in. Could be the worst day of your life. Now, my day after school, like many of my age, we found ourselves on a train heading out to some foreign town to do our military service for a year. Some did 9 months. I was the first intake to do a year. During that time, it was extended to do 2 years of military training. And then, of course, we know it fell away after that. Now, for the first 3 months of my day after, my every day after the next day, I had somebody shouting at me. Now, I wasn't the only one experiencing being shouted at. There was a whole bunch of young boys that were thrown together in a group, and we had this little corporal, possibly much smaller than, actually my corporal was a lot smaller. He was the small guy, this small man syndrome, and of course he took it out on us because of his stature being so small. But he had 2 stripes on his arm, and he was able to shout orders, and we had to do what he told us to do. I can remember those days after. For 3 months, the first 3 months of our training, we weren't allowed to walk. We had to run everywhere we went. We had to run. We had to fall into queues, much like today. We experience queues. Wherever you go, there was a queue. You had to stand in a line. You had to stand to attention. And this young boy would come and shout out orders, and we would have to be obedient to those orders he shouted out. Now, let's go back. Can you imagine Mary and Joseph's day after Jesus' birth? Some shepherds rock up. All of a sudden, there's a knock at the door, and some shepherds surround them and telling them that they saw an angel, a group of angels came and told them about this young boy that was being born in Bethlehem. And they came to see that what they were told to do. In Luke 2:15, listen to this. The shepherds said, "Let us go to Bethlehem. Let us see this thing that has happened." You see, the day after the shepherds' angels' visitation, they got to see the Messiah. the Lamb that would take away the sin of humanity. Jesus, that sacrificial Lamb. Today, possibly your day after, do you recall the day that you accepted Jesus Christ as Lord and Savior of your life? Do you recall Him being not just the babe, but now being the sacrificial lamb that was brought into this world for you and I, that we could find our freedom by accepting Him of that what He did for us on the cross of Calvary? You see, Christmas is not just about the babe in the manger, but Christmas is really the reality of what Jesus had come to do, and that to set humanity free. Hold that thought as we continue tomorrow our talk about the day after.